Good morning from the garden. Today I want to show you a little slice of the herb layer of our young food forest, and I want to tell you a bit more about the benefits of the diversity that we're trying to create here. If you saw my March video, you saw me planting these two fruit trees, the peach and the apricot. I will link to the video in the description box below. But after the trees were planted, I started planting the herb layer. So most of these plants went in April. And they are chosen so that they have beneficial influence on the trees, that they support them in different ways, but so that we can also harvest from the herb layer. At this point, it's a mix of perennials and annuals. There are vegetables, herbs and flowers, and they all have different functions in this mini ecosystem. The trees are still very young, which means they cast very little shade. As they grow, this will change and the herb layer will evolve as a result. Here are two perennial plants that I like to plant close to my fruit trees. One of them is rhubarb, which is a great, delicious perennial vegetable, but also a great mulch plant because we only use the stalks, and the big leaves you can just snap off and use as mulch. The other plant here in front is lupin, which is a nitrogen fixer, so it acts as a built-in fertilizer in the fruit tree guild, and also when it flowers it's a great bee plant. I also like to plant a lot of perennial herbs around my fruit trees, like lemon balm or oregano, which are both medicinal and culinary herbs, and also great bee plants. There are bees and bumblebees humming all around me, and because these flower at different times than the fruit trees, they provide nectar for bees throughout the growing season. Another multifunctional plant that I like to add to my herb layer is yarrow. It has edible leaves that you can use for spring salads. It's a medicinal plant. It stops bleeding, or you can put the leaves, crush the leaves and put them on small wounds to stop bleeding. You can make medicinal tea from it. It also attracts beneficial insects like hoverflies and predatory wasps that feed on aphids. And it accumulates nutrients from the soil, like potassium and copper, and when the plant decomposes, these nutrients become available for other plants. It's also a great companion plant and a good addition to compost. Here are two short-lived perennials that I like to plant mostly for wildlife. This is this pretty purple flower, that's Verbena bonariensis, which attracts butterflies, and this is clary sage, which can be used as a culinary herb, but I have it here mostly for bees, and I like to use both of these in bouquets as well. There are also some annual plants, but I have not planted or sown these here. These just self-seed in my garden, and over time the annuals tend to disappear because the perennials will fill in the space and they're stronger plants. And annuals are actually pioneer plants. They need disturbed soil to germinate and thus will not be available later. For example, here is chard, nice vegetable, leafy vegetable. Here is calendula, which is an edible flower, a medicinal plant, and also a plant that attracts beneficial insects. Here I have curly mallow, which is a great addition to salads, quite nice mild tasting leaves. And there's also chamomile, which has already finished flowering, but we pick and dry this for tea. Here's another nice multifunctional plant that I also think is very pretty. This is purple plantain, and like all plantains, it is a medicinal plant. You can use it for insect bites, and it has anti-inflammatory properties. You can use the young leaves in salad. They're very rich in vitamins and minerals, and it is also a food plant for certain butterfly species. There are also different perennial vegetables, like the Welsh onion here, which is my favorite perennial onion. You can grow it from seed. I sowed these in the spring, and as onions they also have antibacterial and antifungal properties, which helps to protect the trees from fungal disease. Here is an artichoke. There's sea kale, nice perennial kale that I like to blanch in spring. There's fennel here, which is medicinal plant as well, and also attracts beneficial insects like hoverflies. And there's also seaweed here. These were not all the plants that we have here, but I hope you get an impression of the diversity that you can create in the herb layer, and also the different plant functions that you can incorporate apart from the edibility or the medicinal properties of plants. If there's something you would like me to talk more about, more in depth about, let me know in the comments, and please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Happy gardening!